Have you all got it?
Yeah. I'll just upload it.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's just uploading. Yeah.
Yes. Vivek, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, then shall we start?
Yeah. It was John Baptiste Lamarck. John Baptiste Lamarck.
Okay, good. Don't erase it. Okay, next one. Okay, what I suggest is we'll do the entire question 1 with Brijesh, then question 2 we'll do with Vivek, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
second one. Studying fossils helps scientists understand how living things evolve. Explain how the fossil may have evolved, may have formed.
The fossil in figure 1 may have formed by being a mold. The fossil in figure 1 could be a mold fossil. Mold fossils are formed when a decaying organism has large amounts of sediment deposited on top of it.
Okay.
When that happens, as the organism decays, sediment begins to put pressure, and as the hard parts of the organism decays, they are replaced with minerals.
They are replaced with minerals. Okay, good. Next one. There are many types of rat snake in the world. Shows 2 types of snake. Okay, this table shows 2 types of snake. Japanese rat snake and a Texas rat snake. What special? Color of the snake they have given. And the next sheet, if you see, they have asked you all the different types of rats snake have evolved from similar ancestors. The rat snakes have evolved from similar environments. Explain how Japanese rat snake evolved in the Texas. So, okay, with the help of you have to solve that one.
So you just go through here. So you say the Japanese and Texas rat snakes were originally the same. However, the Japanese rat snake, a single Japanese, but these were separated and underwent speciation due to environmental isolation. So a Japanese rat snake, a single Japanese rat snake could have mutated to become green, and this would be better suited to its environment, as its environment is mainly grass, so it'll be it's easier for it to be disguised from predators and prey, so therefore it's more likely to survive and reproduce, and over many generations it's more likely to it will eventually, the whole Japanese rat snake population will become green. However, the Texas rat snake mutated to become a pale brown in the same process because the environment's dusty and dry and dusty, so it will disguise better from predators and prey.
Okay, fine. Y'all can also use that they have been camouflaged and all. Okay. Okay. The next one. New.
New predators.
Okay, fine. Okay, second set of questions. Second question. So we'll start with Vivek.
Okay, an airtight compost helps causes
And why the garden might be against producing compost using this product. Okay.
a gardener might be against producing compost this way because it could release more harmful gases to the environment.
Okay, what kind of harmful gases?
Like CO2 could be released.
The question says he wants to add compost to soil to increase the yield of strawberries. Okay, and the airtight compost heap causes anaerobic decay. What is the other gas forming apart from CO2, apart from carbon dioxide?
Ethanol would be produced as well, which could damage the plants.
There is also production of methane gas. Okay, production of methane gas is also possible through this one. And if there is a high amount of methane gas in the environment, what may it lead to? If there is a high amount of methane gas, what might it lead to? It might affect the greenhouse effect, right? Global warming and all may happen. Okay?
I'm not sure because, yeah.
Okay, fine. Moving on to the next question.
Okay, determine ratio X in the table. Okay, will it be 49 to 1?
49 to 1. Okay, that is the right one.
Okay, and then which type of material in table 2 being the best. Okay, so it'll be horse manure because it's the closest to 25-1, which is the fertile compost.
Okay. What is the answer? It is closest. Okay, 25:1.
Okay, some of the leaves from the garden of the strawberry plant die, and dead leaves fall off the plant into the ground. Carbon leaf. Explain how the carbon is recycled into the growth of new leaf. Okay, so the carbon would then go into the atmosphere.
Okay.
Then a plant will absorb the carbon from the atmosphere for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis would produce glucose, which will create the energy required to grow a new leaf. And then some of the glucose would get stored in the leaf as starch. And then that leaf could fall off again, could decompose again, and then the carbon could go back and it will repeat.
Fine.
I think that's all that you have to say to get all the marks.
Okay, fine. Moving on to the next one. Question number 2.5. Okay, strawberries.
Okay, so figure 2 shows 2 strawberries. Both strawberries were picked from the same strawberry plant. Both strawberries were picked 3 days ago. The strawberries were stored in different conditions. Strawberry A, strawberry B. Okay, so one reason would be a higher temperature. A second reason would be more moisture in the environment around strawberry A.
Okay.
And a third reason might be the presence of bacteria that weren't there in the environment for strawberry B.
Okay, good.
So I think that's British as well.
British, yes.
Yeah. So another reason why people might selectively breed cats is to gain desirable aesthetic traits, or cats which are more resistant to diseases. So cats which have a resistance gene.
People may select breed cat. Okay.
Selective breeding causes problem. So breeding reduces the genetic pool of the animal, which means it's less likely to have a mutation which could survive if there's an environmental change or new pathogen or disease.
Okay.
So the parents which produce the least amount of LD1 are chosen, one male and one female. These two are then bred together multiple times, and from the offspring, the one which produces the least LD1 is chosen, and that's bred with another male, and then the two ones which produce the least LD1 are then chosen, and those are bred again. And that cycle is continuous until no LD1 is produced in offspring.
Okay, good.
Then this is the next question now.
Done an investigation using mold spores, others.
Okay. The student should they should be wash their hands after the experiment has taken place.
When doing this investigation.
Okay, when doing this, wear gloves.
Wear gloves. Okay.
Prevent to prevent contact of the spores to the skin.
Okay. 4.2. Read the thing and answer 4.2.
A student made a hypothesis about the growth of mold. The higher the temperature, the faster the growth of mold. The student planned to measure the amount of mold growing on bread. The student used the following materials and equipment: slices of bread, sealable plastic bags, a knife, a chopping board, and mold spores. Describe how the materials could be used to test this hypothesis. So what they would do is they would prepare several slices of bread. So if they had, for example, 5, they would prepare them all the same. They would cut the same size slice of bread. They would add the molds, board, put them all in sealable plastic bags, and store them all at different temperatures. So one could be at 21 room temperature, then one could be at 25, one could be at 30, one could be at 35, and so on. And then they could leave it for a week, come back and see how much the mold has grown on each one.
Okay, fine. So we have to repeat the experiment again, right? To find out the perfect one.
Yeah. Determine the rate of mold growth at 42 degrees between day 2 and day 7. It's great. Give one variable the student should control. Temperature.
Yeah, the 4.31. Have you answered the 4.3?
Yeah, temperature. 4.3.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Determine the rate of mold growth.
Between day 2 and day 7. How can you solve this part? Okay.
4 and 12. Okay, so there would be changing x over changing y. No, changing y over changing x. So change in wet x is from 4 to 12. So that would be change of 8. Change in y is 1, so be a rate of change of 8
Okay.
mold units a day. I think that's right. Is that right?
What is your answer? Final answer?
8 units per day.
8 units. 6 minus 4. Between
Oh,
day
in day
2
2
and 7,
and
right?
day 7.
2 and 7, yes. So
I
on the
done
day
3.
7, what I figured out is around 55 or 56. And
Okay, I
day
done day
2,
3.
yeah, day 2 it will be around 3
Just zoom that back in
or
then.
4, I guess 4. So one block, 2 units, I guess.
Okay, so that is a 50, that is on 50. 50, 52, 54, 55, and 55 and 4, so that is 51 over a change in x of 5, 51 over 5, 10.2. 10.2 units per day.
10 point? $10.2.
Yeah. 0.2 units per day, because you do 51, which is the change in height over the change in the x-axis, which is 5, because it's 5 days, is equal to 10.2.
Okay, fine. The growth of mold shows decomposition of a bread. Gave a conclusion about decomposition from the results in figure 3. Okay, with the help of the figure 3, you have to answer this.
Okay, so this is figure 3, and the rate of decomposition in the bread steeply increases over time on the higher temperature, whereas on the lower temperature it reaches a relative maximum quite quickly.
Okay. Next.
British.
Have you done human eye?
I think so.
I don't remember, but is it there for your syllabus, in their syllabus?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I think you'll may be able to answer that.
Um,
Describe the changes in the pupil and iris going from A to B, from A to B. Explain how these changes occur.
I can do it. British is not going to do it.
You can answer it, Brajesh.
I'm just trying to remember that.
You want any help?
Don't know.
Just
I think I did, but I can't remember what it's called.
okay.
Dilation.
Dilation, yes. What can you observe? A, it is dilated less. They are dilated less, and B, they are dilated more. Pupils are dilated at point B.
Yeah.
Okay. What else can you give? Because it is a 4-mark
It's
answer.
not dilation. It's to do with focus. So if you're going, if you're looking at something very close, the light you want to take in less light, but your so they stretch your they stretch your pupil. But then when you're looking at something far away,
When does a pupil stretch up? Mention me
you want
that.
to take in as much light as possible, so you can or if it's dark, you want to take in as much light as possible, so you can see as much as possible. So when it's light, looking at something near you, you try and take in less light. When you're looking at something quite far away, or if it's quite dark, you take in a lot more light, you so you can see more clearly. But I forgot what it's called.
Okay. For me, it's getting, the pupils are getting dilated. But when does it get dilated from A to B? What is the reason behind this dilation?
So if it's quite dark, or if you're looking at something far away.
Yes, like a low light or a dim light.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Next question. Some people wear glasses to improve their vision. Figure 5. Person with blurred vision.
So in figure 5, uh, the light is diverging by the time it reaches the retina in the back of the eye. However, by the use of a lens, the is spread out, so then when it converges back again, it meets at the right point in the retina in the back of the eye.
Okay, fine. That is enough, I guess. Question number 6.
Okay, so the two students invested in reflex action. So there's two ways. Okay, a wider sample and maybe a different test of reaction each time it's repeated, because the student could get used to and improve their result by practice. So if they do a different test the next time, the practice from the previous time wouldn't be there.
Okay, one more reason.
That is two.
Sorry,
So
I didn't get the first one.
More students, and this one would be the whole one about doing a different test each time. So that way it rules out practice as a reason for improved results.
Okay, fine.
Prove validity of results. Okay, then what was the median result? $117.
Okay, good. The mean distance the rope was dropped.
The mean distance of the ruler drop was 116 millimeters. Calculate the average reaction time. Okay, so it is the square root of 116 over 490.
Okay, here 116 is mentioned in mm and the reaction time in seconds is given in centimeters.
Okay, so it'd be 0.116. No, it'd be 1.11. It would be 1.16.
It will be
Yes.
11.6.
11.6. Oh yeah, no, 11.6. and that would be
11.6.
a
Right.
reaction time
490.
of 0.154.
0.154. Okay, that is a correct answer. Perfect.
The students then measured student A's reaction time using a computer program. This is the method used. Okay, there is less random error in reading the answer off the ruler, and there is a higher resolution. Is that right?
So okay, resolution
So
is okay.
less random error.
Yes, right.
Just leave that. A woman has a head injury. Her symptoms include finding it difficult to name familiar objects and not being able to remember recent events. So, would that be cortex?
Yes, that is a cortex, cerebral cortex. And to be perfect, it
Yeah.
cerebral cortex. Okay.
A man has a head injury. I'm not sure about that last one.
Suggest which part of his brain. Okay. A man has a head injury. He staggers and sways as he walks. Suggest which part of his brain has been damaged. That will be the cerebellum.
Okay.
Cerebellum. Okay. Okay, DNA.
Okay, my turn again. So part B is
Phosphate.
phosphate or pentose sugar.
Pentose sugar is the pentagram.
Pentose sugar will be the
pentagram.
Not pentagram.
There's no key, Vivek. There's no key, so it technically could be any way around.
No, because it's phosphate then sugar in the pentagon.
sugars. They are mentioned in the spectrum figure. This will be the sugar.
There's no key, so it could be either way around.
Because the sugar are closer. It's always like this. The sugars are always closer. Then it's that one. Then it's
okay. Precisely, the sugars are being attached to the bases, not the phosphates. Sugars are being attached to the bases.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
In figure A, the structure shows four different bases. These are the four different bases pairs of okay. Simple answer.
So for this one, it can so the bases. So basically, so if syndrome H changes the amino acid which codes to the shape of the active site of the enzyme, it would mean that the enzyme is unable to. It means that the active site of the enzyme is no longer unable to bind to the substrate and catalyze its breakdown. So therefore, the enzyme is not able to produce its function. Therefore, the enzyme is unable to do its function.
Okay, fine. 7.4.
So a heterozygous and homozygous recessive.
What can be the answer? Okay. The next one. 50% chances, right?
Yeah. That's Vivek.
Okay, so 8.1. Some people think the farming methods in Figure 2 are unethical. Okay, so intensive farming methods release a lot of methane into the environment.
Okay.
That would be one. And another one would be a large amount of species is produced which can pollute can pollute local rivers and cause a buildup of algae, which will kill all of the life in the river. So complete local streams and rivers would be the next one.
Okay.
That's where the species would be dumped.
Okay, fine.
Question 8.2. Explain how intensive. Okay, so the intensive farming of pigs increases the efficiency of food production because all the resources can be put in one place, and there is less energy spent taking resources from one farm over here to several different farms. They're all in the same farm. It's all just to one place. There is less going around, so there's less wasting energy in between places. It's all just going to one place. And when it's all been taken out of that one place, it's all going from one place to another place. So it's less going to other places. So like the routes like this instead of like this, then this, and this, then this, and then finally to the end here. Then it's just like this. That's what I'm trying to say. (8.3) Calculate the percentage decrease in number of seals caught from 2004 to 2010. Okay, so in 2004 it was. Okay, is it 81.49%?
How much? The total value you're telling me?
81.
Okay, 81.49.
49%.
Yes, yes.
Okay, 8.4. The conclusion in the newspaper might not be correct, so there's two reasons why. So the newspaper says that food security is a serious problem. Wait, please. Okay, so food security. So the newspaper could be wrong because they might be eating new animals in the area. Newspaper might also be incorrect because they might be importing foods from other areas.
Okay.
Would those be two valid answers, or will they not count as part of the spec? Yeah, Brajesh, homeostasis.
So done with question.
So, blood glucose levels are controlled by a negative feedback loop in the body. So, after a meal, you are likely to have too much glucose. So, this is like this will be detected by the pancreas receptors, which will send a signal to the liver to produce glycogen, to turn glucose into glycogen, which is then stored. And when then afterwards, if you go and do some exercise or something, and the amount of glucose in your body decreases, the pancreas will then detect this and will then tell the receptors to turn. The pancreas then will then produce glucagon, and this will tell the liver to turn glycogen back into glucose. So basically, the pancreas can produce two hormones, which are called insulin or glucagon. And insulin is produced if there's too much glucose, which tells the liver to turn into glycogen, and glucagon is produced by the pancreas if there is too little glucagon, if there is too little glucose, which will then turn glycogen back into glucose. So there are two types of diabetes. There's type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is when you've eaten too much glucose in the past. So the cells in your body become immune to the effect. The cells in your liver become immune to the effect of insulin, and this causes a glucose buildup in your body. So the cure for that would be it doesn't completely lose but it becomes a lot less stronger. So the cure to that would be more exercise and eating less food which contain a lot of glucose, like sugar or like starchy foods. The other type of diabetes is type 1 diabetes, and that's when your body can't produce as much insulin. So in that case, you have to get an insulin pump built. You have to have an insulin pump, and that will do the job of the pancreas and detect when your blood glucose levels are too high and produce insulin. And also, you have to be careful with how much you eat as well. Is that right, or did I get them the wrong way around? Hello?
Yes.
Was that right, or did I get them the wrong way around? Because I can't remember exactly which way around they were.
The 9.21.
Yeah, this one. Did I get it right, or did I get two types of diabetes the wrong way around?
9.1. What else can we add is you can talk about the insulin.
I've already talked about that.
Okay, fine. That's it then.
Calculate the percentage change in Bridger.
Wait, this one's still mine. The percentage of you have to do.
Okay.
So you just put that in your calculator. So I'll just do that now. Obviously, then you need to times that by 100
Okay.
to get the percentage, and then that would be two significant figures. That would be 6.2%. Still mine. Diabetes can. So a blood test is more reliable because that's where the glucose is traveling through. So, and that's where the pancreas detects it as well. Patients are not allowed to eat 8 hours before the glucose tolerance test because this would produce a lot of glucose inside the body, which will skew the test results. Oh, this one just keeps on going. Patient A
Okay.
has diabetes because basically if you draw a line here, you can call that the normal line. So he's eating a meal here, but then it's dropped back down to that normal line again, which is what it was at before. But when patient B, with patient A, if you draw their normal line for the meal, you can see that they've eaten a meal and it's gone up, but then it's just carried on going up. It hasn't fallen back down to their normal like that. So patient A has diabetes because the insulin isn't being produced or being recepted properly to change the blood glucose levels. And now let's do the next question. Quite a long question.
Just relax, right? Vivek, it is yours.
Okay, so hyperthyroidism is caused by an overactive thyroid gland. Suggest what a person could do with hypothyroidism. Okay, so a person with hypothyroidism would like experience side effects. Such as, I'm just trying to think what the what the thyroid does. Like, isn't it? They feel like weak. They'd have like mood swings and stuff, and they'd like yeah. So a person with hypothyroidism would feel like weak. They'd be like tired, and they would have mood swings. They'd also like be trembling and stuff and shaking. Describe the roles of FSH and LH in the hormone cycle. In the menstrual cycle. So FSH is used to
Okay. Next one.
okay, so like it causes like the so FSH causes the egg to like what's the word? It causes like the egg to be matured and start to like grow, and then LH releases the egg from the ovaries into the uterus.
Okay.
That's what the roles of F. It's only 2 marks here, say 1 point for each. Okay, so fine pillars, progesterone and estrogen. Okay, so if you miss a dose of the mini pill, so if you miss a dose, the progesterone levels would be lower, which would mean that the egg would have an increased chance of binding to the uterus. So if the levels in the blood are lower, the uterus lining will still be there, and it would have an increased chance of binding to the uterus. But essentially, be why missing the dose would be increase the chance of pregnancy. I think that's all of it. Hello?
Okay, can you hear?
Yeah, clear.
I think that's all of it.
more? Done?
Yeah, we're done.
Question.
Yeah, fine. So we'll end up here. Another
Yeah,
class.
okay.
Okay? Meet you in next class. Fine.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.